dear ones, we've talked a lot about aligned strategy and soul led business, and that has all been well and good. But underneath all of that is one core truth: your energy is your wealth. And in 2026, I'm not manifesting harder or working more. I'm managing my energy more sophisticatedly, on purpose, every day, with one clear method that's helping me stay grounded, regulated, magnetic, and fully resourced. And I'm very excited to share it with you in today's podcast episode. I call it my 5M high vibe method. And in this episode, I'm sharing exactly how I'm using it to support wealth that feels joyful, sustainable, and soul aligned. All right, let us dig in. What I've realized, and I feel like this is more true than it ever has been before, is that wealth isn't just about action. True, sustained wealth and living a life of wealth and calling in the resources that you need on a soul level to stay in alignment to your soul mission is about energy management. And when I look at my clients and even my peers who are struggling to grow a successful soul aligned business, what I so often find is the block isn't strategy. It's energetic misalignment. And that's what 2026 is asking of us. It's asking us not to explore, how can I work harder? The question we're being called to is, how can I stay energetically resourced? And when you do that, the wealth will follow that alignment and flow that you create. And this energy resourcing is about how you nourish, regulate, and ground and expand yourself on the daily. Not just from time to time, not just once a quarter I do a weekend yoga retreat. This is about on the daily, on the hourly. How are you nourishing, regulating, grounding, and expanding yourself? Because the truth is, your energy system, your nervous system is either supporting or sabotaging your visibility, clarity, and receiving. So what we really want to do is think about resourcing our energy in a way so that it's constantly supporting our ability to be more visible, get more clarity, and receive and allow in more. So my little 5M high vibe method that I really developed for myself, and it's been working so remarkably that I decided to start sharing it with clients. And now I'm sharing it with you now for the very first time in this podcast episode, is the energetic blueprint I'm using this year to stay aligned with sustainable wealth, intuitive clarity, and the business actions that my higher self is truly calling me to take. Although this method really isn't about what I'm doing, it's about how I'm being, and not even just being, but it's being an energetic alignment. So let's unpack what the 5Ms actually are. First and foremost is meditation. Meditation is my anchor. It keeps my channel clear, my authority clean, and my decisions aligned. It's how I create space in my energy so that the alignment can happen and the insights can arrive. I treat it as a hygiene and not a luxury. And what I've noticed in my life is that when it gets chaotic, meditation is the first thing to fall off the calendar. And that used to happen because I would make the perfect the enemy the good. There was a way that I felt like I needed to meditate every morning for it to actually count. And what I realized is that, ideally, I do get about 20 minutes in the morning and about 20 minutes at night before sleep. That's kind of like the cherry on the cake. But on the days where I oversleep my alarm or I'm just too tired at night or what have you, I can do a micro meditation. And so I do this energetic alignment process that I teach as part of Soul Blueprint, and I do that every single morning. That happens every morning, no matter how chaotic my life is. And as part of that process, which is really an inquiry process, I slip meditation into the process, which is ultimately a journaling process in the sense that I am writing, but I'm asking questions and then I'm pausing. And in those pauses, I go into meditation. It's not as good as my 20 minutes first thing in the morning, but it's still meditation and it's still an important part of my hygiene. So, my true invitation for you is if you're not as consistent as you'd like to be for a meditative type practice, be light on your definition of what meditation actually is. You know, this 5M process that I'm revealing does require some discipline. Spirituality, like going to the gym, like eating healthfully, like all the things, is having us to tap into our discipline so that we change our routines, change our patterns and behaviors to make choices that nourish our energy even more. And meditation is part of that spiritual discipline, and really all the 5 M's are. But if you want to be disciplined and set yourself up for success, we also can't beat ourselves up for those days where we fall off, where we oversleep the alarm and we wake up racing to catch up. This is when we find alternative ways that fit into the pace we're going at that enable us to really take care of our energy, even if we're in a fast paced pace for the day. So, getting back to meditation, this is where I listen to source, but not just for business, really for everything. And like I say, I call my meditation practice my bookends for the day. It's how I love to start and it's how I love to stop my day to keep me in that high vibe alignment. All right, the second M is mindfulness. This is how I manage my mental energy, which is another M. But I did actually have this M as mental, but I decided it's more than that. Mental falls underneath here of this mindfulness about what media I'm tuning into. This is going to be a bigger and bigger thing as the information age continues to explode and we have more options to tune into more different types of information, being hyperly mindful about that media that your higher self is actually calling you to consume instead of consuming things that aren't really in your highest and greatest. So, this means less scrolling and more presence. This means I'm mindful and conscious about all the inputs that I receive in a day: books, beauty, silence, slowness. And this is sometimes where I do find it challenging because we live in a modern era that is really designed to take us away from this type of mindfulness. So, again, drawing on that discipline to say, when I scroll, say, social media mindful lessly in a not mindful way, I feel bad. My fear gets triggered. My nervous system gets rattled. It doesn't feel good. So the 5M high vibe method is about what feeds my energy, what makes my energy feel resourced. And that is tuning into social media to the teachers and um, movements or whatever it is that fill my soul. So instead of scrolling my news feeds, I go to, say, a coach I gain inspiration from. I go to her page directly and just see if she's put anything new into her grid. And I'm more and more, I'm almost to the point where I don't scroll at all. And let me tell you, that has been an absolute game changer in my ability to feel just harmonious and high vibrational in my own energy. So this is too, the mindfulness protects my attention, and attention is one of the most valuable currencies we all have in this information age. The third M is meals. Food is not just fuel, it's regulation. Steady nourishment supports steady energy, which supports steady wealth. So, prioritizing meal planning, shopping, cooking, making sure you're not so busy in your work that it eats into that time that you give yourself to prepare meals. I make feeding myself an energetic devotion and not an afterthought. And for years, it was an afterthought. So I was racing to get something on the table every day. But now, I am a planner. So I do like planning and systems. And so I've actually moved away from a weekly meal plan to a monthly meal plan. And if you're a right arrowed, go in the flow kind of person, that might be like, whoa, that might feel bad for you. But I actually find for me, monthly meal planning makes it eat more easeful because I tend to make the same things and I follow a system that also makes it easier for me. So Monday is always some sort of pasta. Tuesday's Mexican. Wednesday is Asian, everything from like the Middle East to Japan. So we like Middle Eastern food, we like South Asian food, we like East Asian food. So all of Asia. Thursday is usually an egg or a meat and potatoes, but I'm vegetarian. So like, vegetarian meat. Friday, we do homemade pizza. Saturday, I don't cook. So that's go out to a restaurant or order home delivery. And then Sunday is a wild card where I like to try new recipes and shake things up. So sometimes we get slowed down in our discipline when we have too many decisions. But you can see from my little weekly sort of categories, I'm already taking out all the decisions. And so for pasta, I have about 15 different pasta recipes that I like to make, and I just rotate them. The same for Tuesday, for my Mexican recipes, the same for Wednesday. So I'm always rotating, and then Sunday is my time to try new things so I can add new things into the rotation. It's actually a very simple plan to make and maintain. But when I don't make the plan, I'm scrambling. I don't know what ingredients to order. I'm always like, I don't know what to make. I feel exhausted. I feel overwhelmed. Let's just order home delivery. And that food is never as good as the food we make for ourselves. So if you are a planner like me, hey, give the monthly meal plan a try. It is actually easier than the weekly. If you're a go in the flow, try my categories. It's still flow. So, right? So think of the 5 to 7 main categories of food you like to eat and identify Monday as category 1 day, Tuesday as category 2 day, etc., and see if that can set you up for greater meal success. Moving on to the fourth M is movement. I move my body daily to clear stagnant energy and bring myself back into presence. It feels good. It lifts my energy. It brings me back to myself. It doesn't need to be intense. And I'm always listening to my body. How does it want to move today? It needs to be intentional. And yes, I'm a planner, so I have my plan. I do circuit training twice a week. I do Zumba once a week. I do yoga twice a week. However, if I'm tired, my backup plan is always walking. I love to walk. I love to walk in nature. I love to walk in nature with my dog Astrid. So if it's a circuit training day and I'm just tired and my body is saying no, and sometimes I'm tired and it's just that I have to dig a little deeper to get to the gym. And sometimes it's tired and I just really have to give myself permission to not go to the gym. And my higher self will guide me to which path it is. And if it's give myself permission to rest, I don't rest on the couch, I rest in nature. A long walk. I still get my steps in, I still get my movement, but it's restful and rejuvenating and always very intentional. Now, the last 5, I have to admit, I did get this from my AI bot, Roger, because I knew I had my M's, and I said to Roger, I need a 5th M that's about play, joy, laughter, connection. And Roger gave me the word mirth, Mirth. This isn't a word that's used often, but this is exactly what it means. This is magnetism in motion, being in the energy of joy and play and laughter. And so this is something I'm really working on this year, which I've been pretty poor at in years past. And I don't at all want to say that I'm there yet. And guess what? I'm not there yet for any of these M's. It's a journey, and I honor where I am. And I very, very much recognize and give myself an old pat on the back for all the progress I've made. And if I'm making progress, then I'm where I want to be. So in 2026, it is my intention to consciously prioritize pleasure and levity, and not just as nice to haves, but what is really required for me to maintain flow. Because without mirth, everything starts to feel like a grind. Even if you're eating well and getting to the gym, if you don't have that extra layer of fun, laughter, joy, and play just for the sake of it, not for the business, not for your Instagram feeds, just for the sake of it, you will return into, or I should say, it's highly likely that you will be left with this feeling that you're still in a bit of a grind. And it's hard to build soul aligned wealth from grind. So, the 5M high vibe method is the wealth strategy for 2026. Strategy only works when your energy can hold it. And this gives you the energetic foundation to create, sustain, and enjoy your success. Because wealth isn't just a mindset, it's an energetic frequency. And most of us have spent our life trying to force success from depletion. And that always, always eventually backfires. So the 5 M's is how I'm going to continue to build energetic resilience so I can hold more wealth without crashing or compromising my alignment. Because when your energy is aligned, your business becomes more intuitive, ideas drop in more clearly, boundaries are easier to hold, clients resonate more deeply, opportunities feel less chased and more received. So I'm not adding any more business strategies in 2026. Instead, I'm anchoring into the energy that lets the strategy work. And I invite you to come along on this ride with me. So, dear ones, my invitation for you this week is to take some deep belly breaths and ask yourself this question. What would shift if my business was built around my energy and not the other way around? So again, what would shift if your business was built around your energy, not the other way around? This week, choose one of the 5 M's: meditation, mindfulness, meals, movement, or mirth, and give it your full attention just for a day. Notice what shifts, notice what stabilizes, notice what opens. This is the kind of calibration that builds sustainable wealth, one aligned, energetic choice at a time. That's a wrap for this week, my dear ones. I hope you received something really special from this episode. And as always, until next time, may your soul guide the way.